Hurricanes have to be the smartest things on the planet. I officially revoke any statement I made against Ian, because this bastard has made the past year mentally unbearable. If you're watching this, Ian, I'm sorry. Also, learn to take a fucking joke. Now, if you have no context, I highly recommend you watch this video in the top right corner. When I say we literally fend for our lives just to live in Florida, I am being 100% accurate. Ian was a disaster of a natural disaster, and while we didn't lose our lives, we lost our house. And my leather stoner couch. Let me take you through exactly what happened during Ian, and maybe grab some popcorn, because it's a pretty intense one. Alright, let's do this one last time. My name is Miles. This video, huh? Pretty garbage video, ain't it? I love cobbling together a video within 8 hours. It isn't the worst video by any means, but you can tell there was some pretty hasty editing mistakes. Although you can't blame me that much. We had a fucking hurricane on the way. Assuming Ian wasn't going to erase a year from my life, I would have posted regular videos after this video. Thank God I waited, since this avatar looks way better than the old one. Ian seemed to have other plans after watching my video. If you remember, in this video I said, I have to stash away my PC in case of storm surge. I was half joking, but it turns out I made a fucking mind read of a call. Guess where we are in Florida? Yep, right fucking here in the purple. Purple is no longer my favorite color. So, what happened after the events of this video? Well, when the storm started, we decided to just watch movies until the power inevitably cuts out. One of the movies we watched was Grinch Night, which is kind of the whole inspiration behind this bumper. Makes sense, this hurricane was like a nightmare to me. The power went out before we could even start the movie Flushed Away. I'm sure you've heard of it. It went out right as Roddy got flushed down the loo. Pretty fucking ironic to this situation if you ask me. Once the power was out, it was time to break out the battery devices, like your phone or Switch. If you ask me, the Switch wasn't helping my nerves in the slightest. As a matter of fact, I had a terrible feeling during this storm. I knew something bad was going to happen. And right on cue, this happened. Now that was a first. We didn't think our door was going to be that weak. We took action before a wind tunnel could form, and we blocked the door with one of our couches. Little did we know, this would be futile in Ian's future efforts. We tried to relax by sitting on the couch currently blocking the door to add body weight, but something still didn't feel right. That bad feeling never went away, and I later ended up feeling lightheaded with a giant sinking pit in my stomach. And I knew this wasn't like any storm we've ever had. Shit was about to get real. If you think the storm was done with us, then you'd be dead wrong. In case you haven't seen the forecast for this storm, let me show you the time lapse. Weird. It still isn't moving. Maybe if I speed it up. Strange. It still moves slower than my upload schedule. Let's speed it up one more time. Okay, so the total time the edge of the eye was over us is about 12 fucking hours. 12 fucking hours. This storm stayed on the coastline of Florida, building up power near the water like a fucking Super Saiyan, while still hitting us with the most powerful winds we've ever seen. It traveled so slowly just so it could maximize the damage done to Southwest Florida. Not even to mention the fact that most of the predictions made about this beast were wrong. So we were stuck in our house, quivering at the mercy of this storm because I heard its few wings.
Enjoying yourself? Take a Spooks tour.
Something else was happening behind the scenes. Looking out of our window, we saw the ditches in our yard fill up with water scarily fast.
This is fucked. We are fucked. This is our backyard. It's now a fucking lake. We're dead.
Even after all the ditches and driveways were covered, it still didn't stop going up. It kept going until we had effectively an indoor pool.
What's up, guys? This is Zach. We are currently fucking dying. This is awesome. I love how our house is flooding.
I love it when water comes into our house without permission. Essentially, we were fucked. We live in a one-story house with a cramped attic, and that was all we had to escape the surge. Shoving a family of 4 into an attic with a large dog and a small dog wasn't fun, especially trying to get them up there. The best part of hiding in the attic as the water started rising is that once we were up there, we didn't know if it would keep going. So our last resort would be to break the fucking roof of our house to escape the water. Thank goodness it never came to that. The water stopped about 4 feet up in the house, and we were lucky to keep our lives. Try to imagine this for me. You're hiding in your attic, and you are basically cornered at the mercy of this water. What do you do there? Well, I guess you could just drink the water. Golf water. A hurricane isn't without its long-term effects and its aftermath, so let me go into more detail. We got lucky. Like, really lucky. We slept in that attic and eventually the water drained from the house, but the streets were still fucked. We figured the best thing to do is to have breakfast, and well, let me tell you, no struggle meal will ever live up to the ones we made in that attic. You got your classic tuna Dorito sandwich, which despite sounding really gross, wasn't bad. It reminded me of a tuna melt without the melt. Safe to say, we were living like royalty. So what was the first thing to do with this wreckage? Well, we can't exactly live in the house like that. The whole house was covered in carpet, so all the infected water seeped all up in there. The first thing we decided to do was talk to our neighbors to see what to do. Keep in mind, cell towers were destroyed at this point. So what do you think we do here? We went to our neighbors who got an evac ride and asked them to call one of our family members for an evac if they ever got cell service. At that point, I made the decision to go onto my bike and get service somewhere else. When I tell you that trudging through that water with my bike was probably the best leg day I've ever had, I mean it. Combine this with Florida heat, it was absolute hell. Since I'm a pasty white person, I got so easily sunburnt from that despite stopping frequently for shade. Eventually, I made it to the gas station that's around the entrance to our neighborhood. After a long, treacherous journey, I had reached a place that still didn't have any cell service. But in a real-life Deus Ex Machina moment, my mom's best friend was at that very gas station trying to rescue us with another person who had a car. So we settled on an agreement that she would take my bike and ride it all the way back to my house to try and prep for evac. Meanwhile, I decided to try and make my way back on foot, which proved to be super difficult due to the foot of water still in the streets. I'll allow my brother to step in and say this part, since I wasn't present for it.
I think the most nerve-wracking part of this plan is the fact that if something went wrong on either side, we wouldn't know in the slightest. Since there wasn't any cell service, we were practically praying for something to go right. Luckily, later on we saw Mom's friend arrive on Jay's bike with a pickup truck behind her. She had somehow managed to convince a random person to help us evacuate, which is literally another Deus Ex Machina. We were told to pack up as fast as possible and we got out of there with a good amount of supplies. Food, water, whatever else we needed. Along the way, we found Jay walking back from the gas station and we picked him up.
When I got into the vehicle, we got dropped back off at the gas station, and we transferred our stuff to the car that she had brought. We traveled for a while before arriving at a house we could borrow for a month, due to her mother being a real estate broker. Once again, a very lucky turn of events. We really should have bought a lottery ticket. The house was really nice, by the way, but it didn't last long since we didn't own the place. A family was set to move in there in 2 months, so we bought an RV to live on our property. This RV had so many issues and was such a cramped space to live in for so long. I genuinely think I went insane during those 8 months we spent. But hey, at least I finally got into Terraria. This RV had so many issues, like AC not working when we bought it. So many things breaking to the slightest touch of anything. If you barely touch something, it would probably break. I'm being dead serious. Not to mention the small beds, very uncomfortable living conditions, and a very shitty shower. It was unbelievable. Don't even get me started on shitting inside of the house, because that was the only way we could take a shit. The big problem I had with this hurricane was just how much damage we'd never expected to happen. You can tell in the previous video I wasn't expecting it either. This amount of damage prevents me from uploading consistently. The moment I posted that video, I had planned out other long since scrapped videos. You see, my biggest issue is that I couldn't work on anything with my channel. My PC was with us during the evac, but when I tried to get it to turn on, nothing! It was broken for quite some time before we finally decided to take it into Area 51. Quick side tangent, I love these guys. I trust these guys 100% with the nerdy PC stuff because I am not a genius. Once I got my PC back up and running, still didn't have any Wi-Fi for the longest time thanks to that stupid RV. So another standstill. At this point, I just decided to say fuck it and wait to post this part 2 on the same day a year later. What a fucking wacky year it's been for me. I am now a legal adult and I have to make money now. So I got a job at Five Guys near me while living in the RV. And this RV was possibly the most grueling 8 months we've had to live. 4 people and 2 dogs living in a cramped tin can on wheels. Not very fun. But I will be back to uploading finally, and I will actually try to shoot for monthly uploads again. Now that I've got my room back, things should go a lot smoother. Except not, since we still live in Florida. This shit could happen to us again at any fucking moment, and we wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Fuck Florida.
We were told to pack up as fast as possible, and we got out of there with a
Except... Actually, never mind. End of script. Once I got my PC back up and run... The big problem what the fuck is this script? How is my spelling this bad?